We do have some new information to report tonight about a tragic story that gained national attention on Thanksgiving.
Now, that story is from Chautauqua County, where a woman was shot by a hunter who thought he was shooting a deer. Now, no charges have been filed in the case, but tonight the Chautauqua County District Attorney says he met with investigators on the case today. And
he discussed where the case goes from here with 2 on your side's Claudine Ewing.
Rose Jafarjan-Bilquist was fatally shot while walking her 2 dogs. It was just about 100 yards from the back of her home. She was shot by a hunter. Authorities say 34-year-old Thomas Jedlowski was the hunter who heard a scream and ran to help Rose.
That's a good thing, but as I said, that's after what happened. So, what we'll be considering is the conduct that led to the result, not the reactions of people afterward.
The district attorney says it's very likely this case is going to a grand jury. What do you have here?
With a case like this, you want to fully investigate the scene. Obviously there's distances, measurements, sight lines, those kinds of things are all important because of the nature of the case.
The DA grew up in Sherman, so this case hits close to home.
I can say I know, at least in passing, both families. Mr. Jedlowski went to school with my little brother. I went to school with Ms. Jafarjan-Bilquist, and I know them by name. I don't know them well.
Should you recuse yourself?
No, I don't. I don't know either party well enough to have a strong feeling one way or the other.
The victim's husband is not talking about the case, but about his wife. That day,
it was a great day. It was just I talk like every day I do. I talk to her and we tell each other, I love you multiple times a day.
He said his wife was happy to move to Sherman to live in the family home with their 2 dogs, a small community that has shown overwhelming support.
I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Even from the community, had a little vigil on Thanksgiving.
She was a biker, a runner, a dog lover. She worked at WCA Hospital in Jamestown.
We go to work together and follow each other to work every day in Jamestown. And just as that's what we did. We loved each other.
As for possible charges, the shooter could face criminally negligent homicide or manslaughter. Claudine Ewing, Channel 2 News.
Former New York State Attorney General Dennis Vacco joins us now. Dennis, first thing here, why haven't we seen charges in this case as of yet?
The case that involves the fatality is much more complicated from an investigation point of view, from a legally and factual point of view as well, than the case involving shooting the pickup truck. So I think the DA's office, the Sheriff Department, want to take their time before they go and file any charges here. Plus the charges that could be filed in regard to the fatality can be much more substantial than the charges that were imposed against the hunter that shot the pickup truck.
We're talking some serious charges here also.
Well, at the extreme, and I don't mean to be forecasting what the DA is going to do, but under the law, there's a possibility, a very good possibility, that he could be charged with manslaughter in the 2nd degree, which involves the reckless conduct that leads to someone's death.
All right, former New York State Attorney General Dennis Vacco. Dennis, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Scott.
Appreciate it.
The Niagara Falls City Council is expected to vote tonight on whether to override the state-imposed property tax cap in order to raise enough money to keep the city in the black for another year. Our Dave McKinley is in Niagara Falls where that meeting will be held later this evening. Dave?
Well, to legally override the tax cap, the City Council must first vote to do that. But before they can do that, they have to have a public hearing on the proposal. And that's when I'm told by at least one City Council member that it's expected to get very interesting inside these chambers.
What do you expect to hear from the constituency tonight when they come to speak to you?
Oh, I'm expecting to see them come out hot and heavy, and I'm not expecting them to be very happy.
The request to exceed the tax cap comes from Mayor Paul Deister.
Why are you proposing the override?
Well, I think everyone knows that we've got a situation where significant sums that we had planned to use in our 2018 budget from the Seneca casino revenues are not available to us at this time.
But Thompson says the city and its administration only has itself to blame.
We've gone a few years without having a tax raise. Sad to say that we probably should have been raising taxes a little bit every year. Would have kept us out of the situation that we're in right now. We didn't do that. Everybody was content. We got the casino dollars. We got the casino dollars. So let's spend that. It wasn't good government.
On that point, Deister agrees.
In past years, we've stayed under the tax cap even when our expenses were rising, and we probably should have at least gone to the tax cap, and in some cases, probably should have exceeded the tax cap in order to balance our budget.
But says right now, that's all water over the falls.
But at some point, you just, you hit the wall, and we hit the wall because the source of revenues that we've been plugging in as an alternative, the Seneca casino revenues, we can't budget for 2018.
Nor can they count on any special assistance from the state to bridge the gap during the dispute, which the city finds itself in the middle of to no fault of its own. At least that's what Governor Cuomo told us 2 months ago when we last had a chance to ask him about it.
It's not a fair request. They had the upside. They got paid when the state got paid. But why would I ever guarantee their loss? Maybe they want to make up the shortfall to me.
Thank you, guys. We're leaving. Thank you.
Deister confirmed to us today he's made no formal request for additional state aid, confident that the state will win its arbitration case with the Seneca.
And if arbitration concludes and there's an unexpected result, then I think you can come back and ask some different questions.
It is important to note that even if the city council votes to authorize an overriding of the tax cap, it doesn't necessarily mean that will happen. After all, there are several budget hearings still to go through, efforts to find additional savings to slash into the proposed tax hike. So that's an important thing to remember, that by voting to authorize exceeding the tax cap, it just gives them the legal authority to go ahead and do that in case they can't find those savings and they have to end up exceeding the tax cap. Reporting live at Niagara Falls City Hall, Dave McKinley, Channel 2 News.